think that's it. I think we are good. Okay. My name is Ben, the Bug Zales. I was born free 11, and I built a 1963 panhead for the show. I got second place, invited builder, and the way that works is all the invited builders in this little corral here, they vote on first, second to third, and apparently they like mine enough to get second place. And it's extremely humbling knowing that the guys who built these other machines are on mine, like, would vote for me. So it's like, I'm extremely humbled and just mind blown. When I first started to build, I knew I wanted to do something traditional 60s, and so I started, looking at all the bikes that I love in the 60s show era, and all of them are really small and low to the ground, and everything's just kind of small and almost barely functional for actual riding motorcycles. So that I knew that's where I wanted to start. So I had this 1963 panhead and had it completely rebuilt, and kind of just started from there. So the first thing I did was I took a tank from that Lowbrow Customs had donated to me, and I cut it up about 9 million times and put it back together, and it came out to be this. And I just wanted to make sure everything was molded in nice and tight to the bike, and my painter Mark helped me with the molding here, and definitely he killed it and told me what he was going to do, and I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we were on the same page for that. And yeah, so that's the one thing I wanted was definitely to keep the peak. Like, I made it so it's peaked on either side. It's kind of like a UFO, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, so that's like the first thing I did, and then the second thing I kind of worked on was I knew that I wanted to do something special with the oil bag. And like I said, in true 60s fashion, it's kind of fashion over function. And so if you take a look here, I kept some stock parts of the original panhead oil bag, but I made everything else.
Wow.
I made it into a teardrop shape, and if you look at the top, you could kind of see that. And it holds just kind of enough to, let the bike run and do its thing. Another thing I wanted to keep in line with the bike is, so I got the peaks here, and then I got that pointed teardrop oil bag. Next thing I was like, I could do something with a shifter, and that was the next thing I made. It was pretty simple, but just kind of keep in line with the bike. I gave it a little knife edge here that matches the molding of the bike, the teardrop, and the knives on the side of the tank.
Put your hand in there for size of it.
Here it is. And then onto the controls. I knew I wanted mid controls, and I wanted to get rid of the forward stock brackets. So I went ahead and cut them off completely off this panhead frame, cut off the forward control brackets, and then made this mid control foot clutch here that goes through the primary. Did that, and then that could take us over to the other side of the bike. And then here's the brake. Kind of matches and looks like the other side.
Kind of.
One last thing that kind of tied the bike together was the teardrop kicker pedal.
Sweet to start aerodynamic kicking.
Yeah. And then for the front end, I enlisted one of the greats. His name's Dalton Walker. I knew I wanted a girder because that was very 60s, and he went and fabbed up this amazing front end for me, and kind of I worked with him on the ride height and how long it is. I don't know if we know if it's 5, 10, 2 under or whatever it is, but we just got the ride height where I wanted it, and this is what we ended up with. I had trouble with. I was like, I don't want any more wires coming off this headlight or anywhere else. So I came up with this total loss system of I got my little switch here, and you just flick it, and there you go. So don't say I didn't. Nothing is there just for fashion. It definitely works. And then off, on. I started in January, more or less, and I actually I do this as a hobby, I guess. So I have a full-time job and whatnot, so this was a lot of late nights and a lot of just thinking during the day and spacing out, and people like talking to me and being like, wait, are you listening? I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, I swear. So
I love it. Congratulations. Man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Dude, yeah, dude, right on, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Concept.